Hello learners and welcome to week 20 of Modern World 2. We are moving on to classifying Japanese internment. And if you look at the pace chart, we're a little more than halfway through. You can see that you should have looked at the rape of Nanjing, London Blitz and bombing of Hamburg, and now we're on to Japanese internment. So we're learning more lessons from history and what this has done to the United States, what it's done from to the world. And if you have not done your power focus areas, you really want to make sure that you work on those. And if you have extra time, you get done with your checkpoints and your project, the additional focus areas will raise your grade. So that's just something to remember here. Okay, so you can see week 20 assignment. And again, it's all about differentiating between acts of war and human rights violations. So the assignment for the week is, how should we classify Japanese internment? Is it an act of war or is it a human rights violation? Okay, so our learning target is, I can successfully differentiate between acts of war and human rights violations. You should be getting a lot better at this as you look at more and more examples. The previous weeks it was, I can begin to successfully differentiate. We're kind of learning how to do it. But now you should have a better idea of what is an act of war and what is actually a human rights violation. Okay, so again, acts of war, human rights violations are the key terms for this project. And the engagement, I want you to take a moment and look at the photographs of the Japanese internment camps. So the process of the traveling, you can see packing up bags on the bus, getting there, getting marked in, where they lived, and then working in the fields. Okay, what is your initial reaction? Is this an act of war during World War II? Did this need to be done? Or was this a human rights violation? Packing people up, Japanese Americans, and sending them off to the internment camps. Okay, was this a way that we needed to do this to protect ourselves? Or was this just an overreaction? Okay, so kind of think about what you think of that, your initial thoughts, and we're going to talk a lot more about this in the lesson. Okay. So for this lesson, you're going to go and you're going to look at, read, and take notes on the Japanese internment document set. And there's a graphic organizer in there for you. So look through the documents. Remember, these topics are a little bit sensitive. So, you have to keep an open mind when you read them. Some of the stuff you might think is a little bit crazy. How did we let this happen? Type of thing. But like I said, keep an open mind. If something becomes a little bit too much for you, take a step back. You don't necessarily have to read every single word in the document set. Okay, so you also go in and read Japanese internment camps and the harsh reality of life in World War II Japanese American internment camps. So note the reasons as to why the Japanese were sent to the camps, what life was like at the camp. And then there's also a video called How Japanese Americans Were Forced into Concentration Camps During World War II. It's a short video, and it really sums up a lot of what you need to know. And there's also some videos throughout the readings up above from the history channel. So you can do that as well. And then there's a very small Quizlet on Japanese internment camps down below. Okay, so when you're done looking at the resources, what was the purpose in creating the Japanese internment camps? You can tell me that. And there's a short quiz just to kind of review what you learned. And then your elaborate for this section, you're going to go into checkpoint number 3 and complete the Japanese internment camps document set. You're then going to use the information to help you complete classifying Japanese internment. So it's checkpoint number 3. So you'll take everything you learned and you'll use it to answer the questions. Okay. And when you're done, just share with me, tell me what new information have you learned from this lesson. So hopefully you gather a lot of new information. Some of you may not have even realized that Japanese were gathered up in the United States and put into these internment camps. So like I said, hopefully you gain a great deal of information. Okay, again, we've gone over the description in the project before, but basically separating acts of war, human rights violations, and you're also going to look about resilience, the habits of success, and eventually you're going to make a picture book, a comic, or another type of media where you teach a moral lesson to a child, but you're not using the graphics that you would for an older child. You'd make it more cartoonish, find a different way to present the material. Okay, parts of the project again, we're on the Japanese internment, and then again, we're making a children's picture book or another creative learning experience for a child, trying to teach them a topic without scaring them. COG skills that are assessed, argumentative claim, selection of evidence, explanation of evidence, and then of course the multimedia. Okay, habits of success, you're going to look at resilience, how you use and build up resilience when you learn about traumatic and emotional content. You'll engage with the content to honor the experiences of others and remain engaged even when it is a hard topic. And you will acknowledge and reflect our own reactions and emotional responses. Okay, so if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. But like I said, we are working our way through this project. And at the end, like I said, we're going to create something to show what happened, but in a much better light for a child. Okay, so be productive, get caught up. We are coming down to the end of another checkpoint, another halfway through the year, January 14th. So just kind of keep that in mind. Finish up any classes that are half-year classes and try to get caught up on ones that you might be behind. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Bye.